You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889. Also sponsored by CNB Bank. Go to carlsbadnational.com to learn more. Thank you for listening to Community Forum. My name's Johnny Chandler. I am the owner of KCCC 930 AM, the host of Community Forum, and with me today is Maelene Soto. This is Maelene Soto's second time joining us. You're here for once a year, guaranteed, as long as you are the coordinator of the September Fiestas here in Carlsbad.
I can go ahead and make you that promise, yes.
Okay. Now, just for everybody listening, I had to reach out to her to get her on the radio, and she should be reaching out to me. But we'll forgive you, but we are going to blast you publicly slightly.
Okay, I think that's a fair trade.
All right, cool. Good. We're not ruining the interview a minute in, which is great. All right, so as I said, Maelene Soto, September Fiestas coordinator. This is your second year being the coordinator of the September Fiestas?
Yes, it's my second year.
All right, so just real quick, this year the September Fiestas are Saturday, September 16th?
Yes.
Right? The parade starts at Carlsbad Academy. What time do we start lining up?
So lineup is going to be between 9 to 9:30 with us kicking off at 10 o'clock a.m.
Got it. All right, so 10 a.m. we're leaving, and we're taking the parade route all the way down to the bandshell?
Yes.
Okay, so we just take that main road straight like past Albertsons and all the way down to the front of the water park, and then we head our way to the bandshell, right? So not a tremendously long walk either.
No.
So if somebody wants to join the parade, we're gonna talk about so much here. I haven't even got my thoughts in order yet, but let's go ahead and start about. I'm there at 9 a.m. I'm lining up for the parade at 9 a.m. Mm-hmm. Right? How should I decorate? What should I bring? How should my ride be decorated?
We will leave creative liberty to all those who want to come and get involved, and we completely encourage anybody who wants to come get involved at the parade. If you want to be in the parade, please send us a message at our Facebook page for Carlsbad September Fiestas, or you can reach out to me directly.
How do I reach out to you directly?
You can get to me with my email, so that'd be Maelene_Soto28@hotmail.com.
Spell Maelene for us, because I think there's a few spellings in the world when it comes to Maelene. So why don't you help us with your spelling specifically?
Sure. So it's Maelene. And then we _ Soto, SOTO 28@hotmail.com.
Okay. We'll mention that a few times, by the way. Right. We'll get it going quite a bit. So I'm there at 9 a.m. Now, you'd like us to send you a message or reach out to you before I show up to know that we're going to be there?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we'll line up. And so there's a theme. So when it comes, if you want to decorate or you want to kind of theme out the event, right? The theme is the start of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah. So we would love for you to stay within that theme, because we're celebrating our Hispanic and Latino community here of Carlsbad. But if you want to go and have fun and decorate and just have a good time with your float, your truck, your ATVs, we encourage it. We just want you to have fun. That's the whole point of that day, is just to enjoy one another and have a good time and celebrate Carlsbad and celebrate our Latino community.
All right, so we're starting at 10. We're walking. Everybody in this town loves a parade, right? I mean, we all love a parade. Do not throw candy at the parade. The city of Carlsbad does not like that. Yeah,
do not throw candy. We won't throw candy. The city does not like that. It's just a safety issue. We don't want no kiddos running into the street to grab the candy. Yeah. But someone from the parade is welcome to walk to you if they're on foot. And to give you candy. Well, we learned that the hard way. So we were in the 4th of July parade, my wife, my family, and I. And, when you're in parades, you throw candy, right? Yeah. I thought that was American tradition. And we were throwing candy, and they weren't very happy about that. No. We heard about it like 2 or 3 days later, even. We'll be walking candy to people next time, but there will be candy. But anyway, don't throw any candy. Walk candy to people. That is a big deal because people can't get hurt. I think there must have been an incident at some point in the history of this town back in the day to be so, virulent about it. Or we're just trying to make sure our kiddos just stay safe. Hopefully I don't remember anything of that nature happening, but I think it's best that we keep it safe and, we have a good time for everyone. So we're not waiting for a tragedy before we do the smart thing? Yeah, let's not do that. Okay, because a lot of reaction around everywhere in this country, but that's like pre-planning, so that's great. So I start at 10, we're walking down, we go to the bandshell, right at 10, we all gather around the bandshell, so 11:30 probably is when we're going to get started down there. Yeah, so, it's Carlsbad, so we never know how the weather's going to be. Yeah. So hopefully we're going to have sunshine. I think it's going to be under 100 degrees, though. And that should be enough for all of us at this point. Yeah, I sure hope so, especially for our CHS band, Yeah, right. Especially the kiddos with the drums. So I hope it's a very cool day for them. That's why we wanted it to be early in the morning so that it's not at peak heat. Right. Now, you guys are going all day out there, though? All day. Okay, so we get there, we gather around. What do we start with? So we're going to start with our traditional grito that's going to be done by Henry Castañeras. So that is his historical aspect. So in Mexico, when they signify Mexican independence, which is on September 16th, there is the tradition of doing a grito, which is translated into like the yell.
Okay.
So Henry Castañeda has been doing this for many, many years, even before I was with the Fiestas, and he is such a big help. He's on my committee, and, you know, I can't thank him enough for being such a good support. So he is done, and when he does the yell, he is dressed up in the traditional, setup of a charro.
Okay.
And so that's kind of what you would see like a mariachi dressed up as.
Is that what? So what does charro mean then? Like,
it's kind of like a cowboy. So like I wouldn't say cowboy, but if you've seen a mariachi, the way that they are dressed, that is what you would call the vestido de charro.
So the restaurant here, El Charro, is named after that then, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, as a white man driving around, I was like, let's go to El Charro, but I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a very traditional, like almost like what would be seen as like I wouldn't say cowboy because it's not cowboy, but a traditional get up setup.
Right. So, I mean, when you think of cowboys, everybody likes to think of the traditional American West, right? But that's not true. I mean, the cowboys down in Mexico, even though they may be called something else or charros or something, it's because they've been around way longer.
Right.
You know, I mean, completely normal thing. So it's very traditional, right? So when I think of traditional, I think of like Native American headdress and Native American stuff like that. And I kind of don't think farther than that, but every culture has that, right?
Yeah.
Even the English culture's got all the judges and the white hats. You know what I mean? So everybody
Right.
has these rituals and these stuff that they do. So I think it's interesting to learn all those cultures. We're all fascinated by the Native American culture and the rituals and their garbs and the way that they dress. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
But every culture has that, and I don't know anything about that culture. So go to September 16th down to the bandshell.
Yeah, you're gonna see it with not only just with Mr. Castañeda, but you're gonna see some of the traditional aspects because this year, thankfully, we've gotten Así Se Baila, who are from Roswell, and they're a folklorico dance team.
Okay.
And so folklorico is a traditional dance that is performed, and so that is going to be a sight to see. That's where you'll see the young ladies dressed up in traditional dresses. And so even within Mexico, depending on which state in Mexico you're from, those dresses can vary in the way that they're seen. Mm-hmm. And then you will see the men dressed up as charros as well.
Okay. No, that's interesting. So this year you're doing, last year was your first year setting it up. I heard great things about the event. Was not able to make it myself. I apologize with other businesses, but I heard great things about the event. But last year was just a celebration. This year is a celebration, of course, right?
Yes.
But I say just a celebration because my understanding is you guys have added a real fundraising aspect to it this year, a real help the community. We're celebrating the community, of course, but we're also helping the community. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so this year we are adding onto the fun, and we're adding in many ways. But one of the biggest things that we're so excited to be having this year is that we are bringing back our pageant. So the pageant is La Reina de la Fiesta, so the Queen of the Fiestas. And that's always been a big part of the Fiestas. We weren't able to do it last year, but we're so happy to be able to bring it back this year. And we have 3 lovely contestants this year. And so these young ladies, during their application process, they have to pick a nonprofit here in Carlsbad of their choosing.
Right.
And so the girls have 3 weeks to fundraise. I'm sure some of our community might have seen, their families on Facebook calling for funds, And so they get to raise those funds on however they so choose. And so on the last day, the funds are counted up. And whichever young lady has raised the most, she will be crowned the Reina de la Fiesta. And her nonprofit receives the biggest amount of those funds raised.
Oh, now, great. So all nonprofits are going to receive a little something.
Yeah, all nonprofits are going to receive a little something. So all 3 young ladies have picked different nonprofits. And so whoever wins, like I said, their nonprofit will receive the most, but the other 2 will also receive something. The Fiesta Committee will not keep those funds. That goes completely back into the community.
There you go. That's the smart thing to do. I would expect it, but I'm glad you mentioned that anyways, because sometimes you never know now, But I expect that from your organization. So where can I go to learn who these women are that are going to be participating in the pageant, as well as how can I donate?
So for these young ladies receiving donations, that's up to them to get those. But check us out on our Facebook page. In the next coming weeks, we're going to be promoting them on our Facebook, giving you a little bit of their bio. These young ladies, we have encouraged to, dress to impress. So we'll be in the parade.
Right.
And then day of, we will host the pageant. And so these young ladies, we will say their bio. We'll say which nonprofit they've chosen. We're really trying to make it so special for them. For the big thing is that we want to give them the experience. So we want to give them the tiaras. We want to give them a sash that's, made, and we want them to have fun with it. And in the hopes that, you know, other young ladies in the community will see what it was like, and they'll hopefully want to do it next year.
Right. No, I love that. I think that's really great. Now, no donations the day of, I think, is what you and I were discussing beforehand, right?
Yeah, no donations the day of. I've been.
You guys got a lot going on.
Yeah,
you're going to start carrying around a bunch of cash and checks on the day of when. Then you got to add that up beforehand. So go ahead and donate before, right? So go say your Facebook page again.
The Carlsbad September Fiestas.
Carlsbad September Fiestas, right? Go to Facebook, hit the follow button, make sure you hit the little buttons where you can get those notifications, right? So that way, whenever they post something, you can go and see right away when they start, you know, giving us the profiles and the bios of these young women that are going to be participating in this. So I think that's great. So definitely do that. Carlsbad September Fiestas. Now, we've got some bands going. We've got the Grito, Charo. I'm struggling here, but I'm trying to get it. You know, I'm working on it. And so we've got all that. So what next do I have after the pageant and all that good stuff?
So the way that the day is going to go is like I said, we're starting off with the parade, kicking everything off. We're going to be down at the beach. We're going to have food, craft vendors. We start off with our opening ceremonies. We're going to have the Carlsbad percussion team do a little performance as they did last year.
Right.
And then from there, we're going to kick off with the Folklorico dance team. They'll be on for about an hour. And then we are very lucky to have Mariachi Leyenda Azteca from El Paso. And they're going to be down at the beach performing for 3 consecutive hours.
Wow.
So
nonstop, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's what they're letting me know. But I'm going to be nice and give them a break if they need one.
Well, I don't know. You better hold their feet to the fire on that one. No, that sounds great. So they're going to be performing and then for 3 solid hours. What time do we wrap up on Saturday?
So we're going to wrap up at 9:30.
At night?
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day full of a lot of fun. So like I said, I know for myself, I always love to hear mariachis. And so they tend to have them during the 4th of July, and they're always kind of there for like an hour. But unfortunately, sometimes I got stuck in line getting food, so I missed them.
Right.
And so this time around, you know, you don't have to worry about they're only going to be there for a certain amount of time. You know, bring out your lawn chair, get you a nice drink, get you some food. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff out there. And just, you can sit there and really enjoy them.
Well, it's already a great place for the family, even without all the amazing things that you're adding, right? So you can break out the barbecue grill if you want, or buy from the food trucks that are there. Set yourself up a table like we see every weekend out there. You know what I mean? The family's getting together and having a good time and some great music. It's just such a wonderful place, and there's so many free concerts and free opportunities down there for people to enjoy it even more consistently throughout the year. You know what I mean? So it's great that you guys are doing that. So that's a full day.
Oh yeah, and we're not done yet.
I thought you were done at 9:30.
Oh, we're done at 9:30, but only the mariachis are done at 5.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
So, you know, we have our mariachis for 3 hours, and then we have our pageant for our young ladies. So that'll take another hour. Mm-hmm. And then we'll end the night with Fusion Norteña.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're going to perform, and there'll be a dance. So I hope everyone brings their dancing shoes.
All right.
Because I was like, I might be running around like crazy, but.
I'll tell you what I would do. I would show up with one of those, with a tent, right? And I would go in there and I'd take a nap.
Oh, I think I might
for a couple of hours in the afternoon, so I can regroup. You know what I mean?
And so those are just the activities that are planned like on the schedule.
Yeah, right,
but, you know, one of the big things that we've been so blessed to have such amazing sponsors, and we'll name all the sponsors here in a bit, but because of those sponsors, we've kept this event completely free.
Right.
So along with the entertainment that's scheduled, we will have inflatables all day. We have the amazing foam.
Oh, yeah, the foam thing's real popular.
Let's Have Foam. They are going to be down there, too. And so because of our amazing sponsors, all these kiddos can go down there and have fun. And you don't have to worry as a parent or a guardian or whatever to have to pay for your kiddos.
Yeah, what a great day, too. I mean, there's not really a whole lot going on that weekend to compete. I mean, that's what you should be doing on September 16th. There's no question about it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Great. I love that. So, it's the start of Hispanic Heritage Month. Now, this is your second year as coordinator. I assume you've been involved for longer than that somehow, to some degree, right? How long have you lived in Carlsbad?
I'm born and raised here.
Okay, all right. So you've, in some form or another, I'm sure that you've been involved to some degree, right? So tell me a little bit about the lessons of that you've had as growing up. You know, you grew up and you were a part of the fiestas from when you were a kid to an adult, and now that you're ahead of it, like tell me kind of where you guys were and where you're going, if you will, right?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm born and raised here. My mom's family was raised in, San Jose. We were there.
Is that what they call it?
Oh, yeah, it's San Jose.
So it's not, but it is San Jose.
It's San Jose.
Okay,
Boulevard,
all right,
but
all
as
right.
Carlsbad people, we know that's San Jose.
Okay. I'm a Carlsbad person for 2 years now, so I'll get there.
Yeah, so, my family has been on Monterey Street for many, many moons, and our family home is still there. So I have always had great memories of the fiestas, even from when I was down at the plaza. It was always fun. You would have food, music, and our family always just enjoyed going to it. And it was a celebration that everybody enjoyed in Carlsbad. It didn't matter about your background, whether you were Hispanic or if you weren't Hispanic. Everyone had a great time.
Tell me if I'm right about this. I'm just thinking about it. So when we travel and we go to other cities, right, my wife and I, one of our favorite things to do in other cities, right, is to go to Little Italy, go to Little Mexico, go to Chinatown or whatever they call it, right? So we go to these big cities, which are American cities, but then we go to these American cities not to see the corporate stuff around the corner, but to go to the areas that, bring that culture that you would get if you were traveling to a foreign country even, right? And that's the culture that we all want to experience. We want to feel like a local when we're traveling somewhere, right? And so yeah, tell me if I'm wrong, but if, like, the September Fiestas that day, could it be the equivalent of me going to, like, a little Mexico to experience the culture that I'm not entrenched in every day? Yeah,
you're gonna get you're definitely gonna get a good taste of what Mexican culture, specifically Mexican culture and just Hispanic and Latino culture, is gonna be. But I think what you're really gonna get, especially here, is you're gonna get that sense of community from Carlsbad.
Right.
And so, like I said, it is a big celebration to celebrate our Hispanic and Latino community, but it's also for us as a community, regardless of your ethnic background, to come together. And that's the big thing, because you're gonna see Carlsbad out there. So you're gonna see, someone that you run into at the grocery store. Everyone says hi here. I've been to big cities, and it's just, people are so friendly here. They'll sit there and talk with you. Like, whenever I go and I've sat there to go listen to mariachis, and I might not know the woman next to me, but she's like, she'll sit there and have a conversation with you.
I do have a complaint about this town. It's an odd one, but it's funny, right? So one time the mayor asked me, how's everything going when I first moved here? Hey, how's it going, right? And it's like, Mayor Janaway, everything's going great, man. Everybody in the community is wonderful, but I have a complaint for you, sir. It's like, so yeah. So I'm waiting in line at the bank, right? Either bank, doesn't matter. I have a couple of, I use a couple of banks here in town. One's like a big national conglomerate, and the other one's a local guy, right? And so I'm in the big national conglomerate bank, and we can all guess who that is, right? And I was like, this is taking forever, right? But the line wasn't that long. Right. Yep. The reason that it was taking forever is because everybody is so friendly that they chat and they chat. I was at the post office the other day, same situation. Right. And it's like, everybody's so friendly and so nice. And my complaint is that the lines take too long because everybody is so friendly, which is really like an odd complaint. Right. I mean, it's like a roundabout compliment.
It is.
You know what I mean?
I can't go to Walmart with my mother because my mom's born and raised here too. And I'm like, Mom, if we go in and out, you cannot. I know. Everyone's like, hey.
So you ever see those memes, right? Where like you're the kid walking with your mom and she runs into a friend at the grocery store and you're like, oh, it's an hour. Right?
That's my mother. But you know what? As I've gotten older and I'm still here.
You became that way.
I became my mother too. Where I run into people and I sit there and talk.
I want to ask you a bit of a tough question. I think this could be a tough question. The Hispanic community, the Mexican community, the Latino community, just so I can try to get that right and rope it all together, because I'm not confident in how I describe the culture. They have a really heavy influence in Carlsbad, of course, right? And they've had a significant influence for many, 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 many years, right? And so do you believe that the contributions of the Hispanic community to Carlsbad, in the community in general, have been properly weighted? Meaning, and I think you know what that means for anybody listening. Does that mean that has the Hispanic community gotten the recognition that they deserve in improving our community? As the community here, are they as widely as accepted and brought into the government and city culture compared to the contributions they've given to our community? Obviously, the contributions they've given their community are very high, right? Yeah. And we know that. But do you feel like that's also been reflected when it comes to city leadership, city policies, and things of that nature?
So in all fairness, when it comes to the policies, I would have to do more information before fully saying yes or no.
Okay. That's fair. So, I don't want to put you, don't say something that's going to get you in trouble.
Don't worry. I work in public relations. So
there you go.
I can kind of watch what I'm saying. But, as someone who's been here since birth, we have as a community just grown so much. Last year, and it might not be a big thing to many, but it was a really big deal we had our first ESL student on the homecoming court.
All right. Yeah. English is a second language.
Yeah. So
the first one ever.
Yeah. And, they were not Mexican. They were these 2 young Cuban kids.
Sure.
And Carlsbad used to be very heavily solely Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing people from all over now. Well, there's always room for improvement. And, one day it is a personal hope and goal that, we do have such a large Hispanic community, Latino community here, to maybe one day have a Hispano Chamber of Commerce.
Sure. Right. I mean, those are very common in most organizations, in most cities. They're they're very, very normal. Now, there could be an argument on that is do you need an Hispano one? Do you need an Anglo one? Can we just have one Chamber of Commerce? But there's a reason that these organizations, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the African American Chamber of Commerce, there's a reason these organizations rose to the level and the prominence and needed. There's a reason that they exist, right? Maybe now we could all get together and have one Chamber of Commerce, right?
Yeah.
But 40 years ago, you couldn't. 50 years ago, you couldn't.
Right.
Right. And so these organizations were born out of the idea that they were excluded for such a long time. Mm-hmm. And now if you wanted to try to go around and include them because you realized that separating them was wrong, now it's a lot harder to include them afterwards when they've already created their own great organization.
Right. And so when I say the Hispano Chamber of Commerce, it's always, I believe in everyone working together. And instead of, it's also Carlsbad's a small town. And so sometimes there's always limited space. Mm-hmm. And there's always something going on here in town. Yeah. Always. So the saying of there's nothing to do, there's always something to do on the weekends.
It's true.
And so, thankfully we've as a community have just come up and I feel like we've really grown. We're having more to do here. And so, but just like with time, you shouldn't compete with us, build together, but still acknowledge in our differences. That's the big thing though too, is that, it is one of those things where to have a Hispano Chamber of Commerce is because the understanding of the culture is personal. And so, but still coming together to work together to be better.
Yeah, and Hispano, so if you have a Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, which is the general one for the city, then you have an Hispano Chamber of Commerce. It's not a detriment to anybody in the city. You just have another organization helping business thrive.
Right.
Right.
And
it's
with
really
a
what it
different
is.
Perspective. So, having my dad's originally from Mexico, I was very much raised in a very traditional Mexican home. And understanding the cultural differences. Sometimes it's not so easy to understand. Mm-hmm. And so, to have somebody of that same cultural background to essentially speak on your behalf, you're more comfortable talking with somebody who you probably think might understand. Right. And so that's one of those things. Yeah,
let me quit that. So think about the ice cream shop. It's literally called Ice Cream Shop, which is next to El Charro, right?
Yeah.
I like that place. I go in there and I don't really know what I'm doing. Right. And there's a bit of a language barrier.
Right.
And I haven't done anything to learn more Spanish, so I don't expect them to learn more in English. Right. I don't have that expectation. We figure it out a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I would think that if I was that my cultural background would not be the best to help that ice cream shop necessarily get started.
Right.
Right. Because I don't understand the culture of what they're doing. Now they look successful. I think their ice cream's great, but it's a different type of ice cream than you would have an Italian gelato type thing, right? And the language barrier related to that. So there's a difference. And we are running a little bit short on time, but I wanted to end that by saying that this will be my first mayoral election to vote in the city of Carlsbad this year. And I'm a big voter. I always vote on everything all the time, and I educate myself tremendously about it beforehand. From what I can tell from the candidates so far that have been listed for mayor, and there's 5 of them that have officially registered, 2 of the gentlemen are Hispanic with significant leadership within the city already, right, and have a lot of experience. I think that when I talk about if the Hispanic culture and the Hispanic population and their culture in the city of Carlsbad has been weighted properly, I think that the idea that we could very likely have the first Hispanic mayor in the history of Carlsbad come November, which means January 1, 2024, they're running the city, is a testament to the influence that the Hispanic culture has, and that all these things take a little bit of time, but here we are. Right.
Yeah,
but here we are. So that's what I'm saying. So I think that's when I asked that question, I actually asked that question just so I could say that statement at the end. Kind of, you know what I mean? That's kind of where we wanted to go.
Yeah, it's so exciting to think that definitely might happen, and that just shows the progression that the city is having.
Right. So go on out on September 16th and celebrate the Hispanic, Mexican, Latino culture here in Carlsbad that has brought us so much, that brings us amazing. I'm just going to boil it down a little bit to the food in this town. Some of it's really, really great.
Yes,
and a lot of it is because of Mexican food, right?
Yeah.
That is the reason, and so There's no shortage of great Mexican food restaurants in town, and that's a tribute to the culture as well. Right?
Yeah, and so we're gonna have great food. We're gonna have great vendors out there of all kinds. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we're going to have the entertainment that's scheduled. We're going to have the fun entertainment just for the kiddos. And, we're going to have other kind of fun. We're going to have a cakewalk. That's an old school thing, but I love a good cakewalk.
There's nothing wrong with a cakewalk ever. Those are so great.
And it's free. You can come pick a number.
Hook me up with some Walmart cakes, like plastic ones already. I love them.
Yeah, so I think it's under my understanding for someone on our committee, they've worked with La Tienda, and they're gonna donate their cakes.
More wonderful.
Cakes. So yeah, come down for the cakewalk.
All right, Carlsbad September Fiestas on Facebook.
Yes.
Right. Maelene_Soto 28 at hotmail.com. Between 9 and 9:30 at the Carlsbad Academy to line up for the parade. You're going to walk down to the bandshell. Right when everybody gets there, everything kicks off. Great bands all day. 3 hours of mariachi. After that, we're going to have the pageant. We're going all the way till 9:30 at night, so definitely stop by and visit them. All kinds of stuff. Besides the river, you're going to have bounce houses. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a huge outdoor fiesta, hence the name, the September Fiestas.
Yeah, and like I said, this is just a time for us, and this is a family-friendly event, so I'm just going to say it real quick. Yeah. There is no alcohol allowed at the
there's no alcohol allowed at the beach at all.
No, there's not, but
unless it's an event that you have to pay to get in and they get it blocked off, because there's a couple events a year down there where they kind of serve some alcohol, but it's not the focal point of down there.
No, it's for our, this event is, to celebrate our family communities, and so this is a family-friendly event, and like I said, we're just down there to have a good time and celebrate one another and enjoy one another.
Don't break the law, okay?
Don't break the law.
Now, let's finish with, nothing in this community happens without the great sponsors of this community. And I just want to say it's a lot of the same people all the time, but there's a reason for that, because it's all the same people step up constantly. But in a way, it's also the whole community that steps up constantly. So let's go ahead, and Maelene here is going to make sure that we give all the sponsors to make this event possible the credit that they deserve.
We couldn't have done it without these amazing sponsors and to keep it free for everybody. So we'd like to give a big shout out to Devon Energy, Chevron, M&J Oilfield Services, Solaris Water, Bobcat, Simcoe, Valley Field Services, B&B Rentals, P&R Oilfield Services. And we also have donors that have chosen to remain anonymous.
Sure. Okay.
But we still want to give them those big shout outs.
Right. You anonymous donors get a big shout out as well. Of course.
They do.
Right. And sometimes those are the best ones,
Yeah.
Right. Always with the community, great community. Obviously the oil and gas companies are huge in our community, and oil and gas companies lift families out of poverty. That's what they do. They pay well if you're willing to work hard. So, and they always contribute to our community. They're a benefit. And so, you can't say enough about them as much as they give to us.
Yeah. And, and like you said, a lot of these companies that, we're naming, this isn't their first rodeo. They love to give back. And we love to see them out there, and they're always so excited to help. And they've always been such a big help. So we really couldn't do it without, these great individuals and their want to help and to be active in the community.
Well, if you can't tell, Maelene's day job is in public relations, because I can. You've done very, very well. Maelene Soto, September Fiesta coordinator. Make sure to go to Facebook, Carlsbad September Fiestas.
Yep.
Get on there, follow them, donate to great nonprofit charities, and help a young woman win the first pageant in a few years.
Yeah, we're so excited. We can't wait. I think that's the one that I'm most excited for.
I love stuff when it comes back, right?
Yeah.
So, Maelene, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889. Also sponsored by CNB Bank. Go to carlsbadnational.com to learn more.